But then there are those cases that come along every once in a while where we are able to bring justice, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it makes us the best job in the world. And so first I want to thank and acknowledge a few folks. And first, and I'm going to start with our office, our staff, our trial team. In this particular case, led by John Schlesinger. Also Ashley Bailey Smith, who was in the second chair, and working alongside them was Doug Seidel, as well as our investigative staff, and one individual who never wants any kind of credit, but had a lot to do with this case getting to the point where we could bring a trial, Ron Goldstein. He was our chief investigator. He retired and agreed to stay on just to see this case through. And I'm mentioning him because, one, he told me I could, because normally he tells me I can't say his name, but also because from the very beginning, this case, bringing this case home, bringing this family justice was one of the things that he just was living and breathing. And so shortly after I took office, he came into my office and talked about this case and could we get the resources to continue to investigate it. And obviously the answer was yes. And last but not least, and you're going to hear from all these folks, there was the family in this case, particularly Christian's mother, Theda, who would never give up. All she wanted was her day in court. All she wanted was the day to be able to honor her son and hold the person who took his life accountable. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this, to be working with my team, which I believe is one of the best trial teams in the country, but also this family who for 19, 20 years were denied justice. But on our watch, they received it today. We're not going to have a lot of questions. We'll do a few, but I'm going to let a few people make remarks, and then after everyone's made their remarks, we'll take just a few questions. So first and foremost, the lead attorney on our trial team for this case, John Schlesinger.
Thanks, Wesley. I just want to start off by thanking everybody who helped on this case. Ron, Ashley, Doug, everybody put in hours and hours of hard work. So thank you to all of them. All I'll say is, we are very pleased with the verdict, and I'm just thankful that we were able to finally bring Christian and his family some justice. Thank you.
He said a lot this week, so I guess he's starting to run out of words. Ashley, would you like to say a few things?
Sure. I'd just like to say that it was an honor to be a part of this team. It's an honor to be a part of this office. I think that justice was served today. And more than anything, I am so happy that Christian is finally getting justice and that the jury came back with the right verdict.
Doug is another person who was very instrumental in working with our trial team, but he also is one who just refuses to take credit. But I will give it to you, and we appreciate it. And so last but not least, on behalf of the family, but also most significantly on behalf of Christian, the person who would not let this go, who screamed from the hilltops, and I just can't tell you how grateful and thankful I am that we're here today with her and that she's able to get justice. So, Theda.
God has us here for such a time as this. I'm so grateful that this day has come. I thank everyone who's believed in me, who just worked behind the scenes. There's so many people who taught me so many things, how to understand lab work and you know, just Google. I mean, I'm just grateful for the ability to be able to do research and do what's in the best interest of myself, but also to be able to use my gifts and talents to help other people who are in my situation and going through circumstances such as this. I thank the jurors, because a lot of times people think that the justice process doesn't work, and at times it doesn't. But when you have the right people in the right places at the right time, the right media, the right people to tell the story correctly, then things like this can happen to other people. So I'm still getting used to this feeling. I heard the words and I know it's real, but I'm still allowing it to sink in because I've been fighting so long, and I had to be so strong for other people, including myself. I never really was able to put up pictures, and you know, because it was a constant reminder of what I did not have. But I always had Christian in my heart, in my mind. Everything that I do was about obtaining justice. And I thank God that I do have a surviving child left, because it could have been that both of my children were taken, and you know, and it could have just been me. But I really appreciate everything that everybody's done in their capacities. And a lot of times, missing person cases are just murder cases waiting to be solved. So I just want people to bring more attention to those that are missing. There's over 1,200 people missing from the state of Missouri, and my child, Christian Ferguson, was one of them, is one of them. But there's a lot of people who are still in my situation, and they need justice as well. So just thank you for believing in me, and thank you for everything that you will do in the future to help other people in my situation. Thank you.
And as you can imagine, everyone here is dealing with a range of emotions. And so we'll take a few questions, but then we want to let everyone get home with their family, and for our trial staff, just get home, period. But I do want to make certain that we acknowledge not only the trial team and investigators and support staff of our office, but a lot of hands went into making this day possible. Not only the family, but also St. Louis City investigators and detectives. This was originally a St. Louis City case, as many of you know. FBI investigators as well, who helped investigate this case prior to and also coming to testify, and all of the witnesses, the brave and courageous witnesses who were willing to step up and raise their right hand and give their sworn testimony in this case, which helped us bring it home. As Theda said, obviously the jury, this was a long trial, a lot of objections, but they were attentive, they were patient, and we appreciate them. And anyone I didn't mention, you know, we acknowledge them too. And with that said, we'll take a few questions.
Can you talk about your mindset going into this case? I imagine that the older a case gets, it's more difficult to solve.
I think there's a couple perspectives we can talk about from that, and I'll start with my perspective. When this case was brought to us, cold cases are always difficult. They're always going to be tough. But we had a dedicated team, and not just in our office. I can't tell you the number of St. Louis City investigators who would come up to me and thank us for reopening this case. Federal agents who thanked us for reopening this case and were willing to give anything that was needed in order to bring it home. And so for us, we knew it was going to be tough. And you know, we have a great trial team, a lot of great trial attorneys, and John and Ashley were two who stepped up to the plate and wanted it. Our attorneys have large caseloads as is, but in this case required a lot of work, but they were willing to step up to it along with our investigative staff, Investigator Martin, Goldstein, Upchurch, and probably several others in support staff. So Did I answer that, or did you?
Just talk about the persistency of the Theda here.
I
Being
think,
persistent.
I think she
Talk
can,
about it.
okay, I'll talk about it too, but this is her day, so I told her she can talk as much as she wants to. You know, I'll just say, you know, oftentimes when people suffer losses like this, you know, you know, it's hard it's hard to see things objectively. If it was my family member, I would feel the same way, but Theda was never like that. She always understood what we were, you know, we would work with her, we would explain to her what we were doing, and she never, she was just amazing to work with. She let our staff do our jobs, and we have an amazing staff in this office, and I can't tell you how much it helps when you have a victim's mother and a family that is so supportive, and it just makes the job that much better when you have that support. Theda, did you want to add something to that? It's your day.
You did a great job. I think you just have to you just have to constantly believe in yourself, you know. And if you know that you're right, you have to, you know, stick to it and just keep moving in spite of your circumstances. While you're learning to live in spite of your circumstances, you have to be persistent, like that persistent widow, if you read the word. So you just can't give up. And I hate the fact that my father didn't live to see this day, but I'm just grateful for the people who are here, part of my family, part of my community, you know, people who feel like they know me. I never even met some of these people, but they come up to me like they know me, you know, and just knowing that people were praying for me, those things helped me up, you know, and that's what, every time they would smile at me, or it's a gloomy day and all of a sudden here comes the sun rays, I'm like, thank you, God, you know. So you just have to be intentional about accepting the blessings that are around you while you're pursuing the things that you're not blessed with at that time.
You said that you want to do day in court. It's been a long 2 decades. Are you having, with this good outcome, do you think that you and your family will finally get some closure that you've been seeking?
People use that word closure a lot, and that's a nice word. It's probably the best layman term to use, but I just say live in spite of my circumstances, because I still don't have what should be here today, you know. So it's just a transitioning into another lifestyle, but in a more comfortable status or position, because now I have time to get to know the child that was stripped from me wrongfully. I get a chance to explain to them things that I didn't have time to explain, and help them understand the judicial system and the obstacles that I had to overcome to get to this point in time, you know. But it's just wild how sometimes people who weren't for you eventually in time, they came to be on my side, you know. So sometimes things may not start off the way that we expected, but God can do some miraculous things to turn things around and put people in the right positions to change the climate and culture to bring about justice.
There's one more question. We'll just do one more. So what's next? Christian is still missing, or you guys going to try to find him, so pursue that?
I feel like that's always in order, you know, just like looking for the other 1,200 plus people that are missing. We still have to do, you know, what's in their best interest as missing persons, and what's in the best interest of our families and our communities, because if it were you or anyone else, we want somebody to do it for us as well. So hopefully I could take time, write down everything, and get to know people a lot better, you know, catch up on the family that they're grown now. I missed all of that. I never saw my children's teeth fall out. You know, 3 hours and 45 minutes going through a custody battle. You know, I was never proven to be unsuitable, unfit, or unable. So sometimes it's like your knowledge, especially as an African-American woman, your knowledge as a woman, and you're black. And a white woman attorney told me this. She told me the reason why I was having a lot of problems on the other level was because I'm black, because I'm a woman, and because I'm intelligent. And to just think that those wonderful things can work against you, it's challenging, but thank God there are other people in positions of power who appreciate that and who brought us here for this day. Thank you.
One more thing, Lynn's gonna have some words.
Yeah, and before we get to Lynn, do you have any questions for Mr. Schlesinger or Ms. Bailey Smith? Because I want to let them go. They've had a very long day.
I have one thing. And a lot of your case was built on circumstantial evidence. Were you ever concerned, or your office ever concerned, that the jury might not buy that without an actual proof that Dawan committed this murder?
So I think there was plenty of evidence that proved that Dawan committed the murder, which is why I believe the jury got it right. Circumstantial evidence is evidence, and a body is not required to get a conviction for a murder charge. Throughout the entire week, we put on several witnesses, medical expert testimony, all of which established that Christian Ferguson is dead. We do not know the location of his body, but we did prove that Dawan Ferguson was responsible for his death, and the jury got the verdict right. Any other questions? Thank you.
And there's no truth to the rumor that Tom Cruise will be playing him in the miniseries. Speaking of brave individuals, I do want to give Lynn Ferguson an opportunity to speak as well.
You know, people were asking me a lot, you know, how do you feel? Or, you know, telling me, you know, this is justice for what you've been through, what Christian has been through as well. And I'm just like, you know, of course appreciative of it, but at the end of the day, you know, the only thing that we all want is Christian to be here. And I think my mom put that best a second ago. And, you know, we can't get him back, but at the end of the day, it is amazing. It's a relief, it's vindication, it's everything to be able to stand here and know that, you know, justice has been served. So I'm really happy about that. And I do want to, again, point out that my mother has been the driving force behind all of this, despite all of the discreditation or, you know, discrediting, despite all of the, you know, lies and the rumors that have been said about her and how she's turned this person against me or against someone else. You know, at the end of the day, she did exactly what I think it was John in his closing statement said a mother would do, you know, in this situation, and she fought for justice. So I thank you, Mom, so much.
And just to end this on a high note, she was right. All those years, she was right. And we're just glad we were along for the ride to help her see justice. So thank you.